Welcome to another great episode of the GTM Rapidfire. For this episode, we have the wonderful Ranjini joining us. She's currently the Director of Product Marketing at Desks 365. She has over a decade of experience in B2B SaaS marketing and has a lot of nuggets to share with us today. Ranjini, I'm going to leave the floor to you to introduce yourself and tell us all the fun things about you.
Thanks, Ritika. I'm really excited to be on here. Like you described, I'm Ranjini. I'm from Desk 365. I've been doing B2B SaaS product marketing for the last 10 years. So GTM, PLG are all some of my favorite words, and excited to be here and chatting today.
Perfect. So without wasting any time, let's just jump right into like our 5 questions. My first question to you is that you've grown from a marketing executive to now a director. Could you like tell us those pivotal moments and decisions that you think has shaped your career and made you whoever you are professionally right now?
For sure. So I started off as a content writer, right? I was a marketing generalist to begin. So whether it was blogs or web page copy or email, I was primarily a writer. I think what really made me a PMM was the first company that I was working for went from a single product company to a multi-product company. So soon we had to start thinking about, hey, who are the different ICPs for the three different products, right? How can we upsell a certain newer product to our existing customer base? What's going to be the positioning difference? How can we make sure our newer products don't cannibalize our existing flagship product? So a lot of my PMM foundations was laid in my first job when I kind of understood how different products cater to different audiences. And once that kind of happened, I just had the fortune of working for different companies that were in different stages in their own growth, right? For example, when I was at Freshworks, we were prepping for an IPO. While I went to BirdEye, we were rapidly growing and becoming like a whole suite of customer experience products. While I was at Multiplier, I was tasked with expansion. So I had the fortune of having different roles across my career, which kind of laid the foundation. So more than me making decisions to grow in my career, I think my career just flowed a certain way.
That's lovely. And what would you say was your favorite stage to work in?
I think I loved being a fresher, right? When everything is new and you have endless number of things to like learn and grow. All of these key words that I learned in the very beginning of my career are still things that I use until today. So I think laying those foundations made a huge difference for me. And anyone that's starting your job, right? If you get it right in the first few years, the next few decades of your career are sorted.
That's wonderful advice. On that note, because you've worked so much across like formats, across companies, across even industries, I would say, from like writing brand books to newsletters. What do you think? Coming back to product marketing, what do you think this role of storytelling like plays, especially right now that we are in the AI world and like we're talking about AI content. Where does that storytelling part lie in PMM? And if you had to, how would you scale it, across functions?
I think especially in PMM, right? Storytelling is the job. It's not part of the job. It's ultimately what you do. Whether you're working with your internal teams and understanding functionality of the product, or if you're working with customers and understanding what is their problem statement or their requirement, you're building these stories and communicating it to different groups of people, right? We think about go to market strategy, we talk win loss analysis. Everything at the end of the day is being able to tell a story very clearly. I think they say people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? If you think about HubSpot today, they're not selling CRM, they're selling growth. If you look at Atlassian, their messaging isn't, hey, we're a product management tool, right? Their messaging is, we make dreams come true for teams, right? So, what is the story and the purpose behind what you do? And how can you communicate that? I think is the entirety of PMM. And that comes through in different formats, right? If I'm putting together a help desk article, right, then I have to have the steps of how this product functions so that someone's able to replicate it at their end. If I'm putting together a demo deck, I need to be able to communicate what are the benefits of the product that my team's built and how does that resonate with maybe a gap or the problem that the customer has. So I'd say storytelling is the job, but you just package it to be in different formats. What really works for me is I put together this story in one singular document, right? When you come up with positioning and messaging, you've got the entire research of market insights, customer problems, what is the job to be done for your ICP, all of that in one place. How do you put that into a single source of truth document that branches into different formats, right? If it's going to be an elevator pitch, if it's going to be, within a PR document, if it's going to be within an email, if your salesperson is talking to a customer, how can you tell these stories in different formats? I think is the PMM job. And having a singular positioning and messaging document and almost like a matrix of how it changes in different formats is what I at least use.
That's really interesting. Do you have any framework that you sort of use to build this document?
For sure. So I use the April Dunford method for positioning and messaging to start with. However, once that's done, I come up with maybe three problems in the market, three features that kind of solves for this, and then your description or things within your product that solve for these problems, and then customer validation, right? Okay, you're telling me your product works in a certain way. You have this feature that helps your customers, but has a customer used it and actually found value in it? So customer testimonials to validate each of these problem statements and solutions come in that matrix.
That's really interesting. On that note, just wanted to ask around when you're handling a product that's very technical, and especially if you have to like tone it down to the normal audience, how do you balance that need for the technical accuracy and at the same time, like you were saying, that compelling messaging, the storytelling part, um, and then sort of like making that work across like your product engineering team and then obviously the end user. So how do you like balance these two things?
Oh, I think cross-functional collaboration, right? I'm not a technical expert, whereas the product manager, the engineer, the tester, and everyone that's built the product know the functionalities of it, right? Know the technical aspects of it that could have an implication for the customer. So one thing I definitely do when I'm putting together positioning or messaging or working on a new launch is making sure I get a full-fledged demo, right? I'm a user of my own help desk product today, right, with Test 365. How can I use the help desk and ticketing system to kind of work with my internal team? How can I make sure that my developers are telling me the full functionality and giving me a demo so that I'm sort of becoming a pseudo expert myself? That way, when I have the technical knowledge and I know the gap in the market, I'm just bridging it again with storytelling, right? So, on some level, I also take help from my team to make sure that all of my content is proofread, approved, and taken a look at by them. So, I leave the tech experts be the experts, but my job is to make sure that the bridging of these two stories happen within like a support article or a collateral that we're building, or whatever else might be the content article that we're building.
Got it. And how do you validate that like the bridge has been built and it is like strong enough? Uh,
So I'm used to running a lot of beta programs, right? So when you're running a beta program, you don't just show your customer the product, but you also show them all of the collateral that you've built around it, right? Show them a demo deck and ask if this kind of resonates with them, if this kind of solves the problem that they're looking for. So getting that customer input both quantitatively and qualitatively, running surveys or getting some sort of input from customers is kind of how I validate it, because at the end of the day, if you're stuck in an echo chamber where you're just validating your own messaging by yourself, that doesn't work. You need to make sure that the market understands it and kind of approves it.
yes, that was a really, really great answer. And I'm sure everyone who's going to listen to it is going to replicate that. Um, my next question to you is how do you keep up with your PMM strategy, especially in the environment right now, right? All of us are talking about what are we going to do with AI? How do we integrate AI into our workspace? Like there are there are a lot of right and wrong ways of doing things, and everyone seems to have like a hot take on it. So what's your learning loop like in terms of just keeping up? It's been over a decade for you, so.
I think I live in a constant state of like curiosity and anxiety. Curiosity because I genuinely care about this space, right? I genuinely care about maybe an IT specialist, a business admin who's using a help desk software on a daily basis. What is their work loop like on a daily basis? How can my product kind of add to it? I'm genuinely curious about this B2B SaaS kind of a space, right? So that way, speaking to customers on a regular basis, looking at your competitors kind of keeps you on edge. But I'm also super anxious because, this industry is constantly changing. I remember when I first started my career, SEO was what everyone is behind, right? You needed your content to be optimized for search engines, for Google, for Bing. But today, everyone's talking LLM optimization. You need to be optimized for, the AI engines. And how do you do that is still something that everyone's figuring out. There isn't like, a single formula in the market as of today. So I think just keeping an eye on industry experts, whether it's through, consuming newsletters or, leaders from the industry, listening to podcasts like this, or whatever it may be, I think I'm on the edge when it comes to just learning what's changing in the industry. So keeping an eye on both on your market and on your peer circle is what's important. And like you said, it's a landscape that changes every day. So just be curious, just be hungry.
And do you have any hot takes in terms of AI and using AI in PMM?
Um, AI is here and all of us use it on an everyday basis for everything, right? So I don't think AI is going to do the storytelling for you. However, it's going to be a great assistant. If I want my content proofread, right? If I want more variations to the copy that I've written, if I want someone to maybe just automate some of the contacts that I have and relationships that I'm building and keeping an eye on some of this industry information for me, AI works as a great assistant. I don't think it's going to be replacing product marketers or doing the strategic thinking for us, but it's going to just aid us in doing our jobs quicker and better. So AI is here, AI is here to stay. Everyone please go use ChatGPT or whatever other AI platforms you prefer because it saves time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. My last question for you is that you recently took a career break to reset, and would love to know what made you take that break. Is there anything very interesting that came out of the break, and how did it change your approach to your career, leadership, or in general? Like, would love to know about that.
Um, Best decision ever. I think I was very anxious when I took the career break because people usually do that when they have a big life change or something of that sort. I just took time off because I wanted to take time off, right? I think it was Satya Nadella that said, around when he became the CEO of Microsoft, that you need to go slow to go fast, right? I think all of us need to take a moment to just gain some perspective, which is kind of what I needed. So, one thing that I did during my career break that I would never have considered otherwise was freelancing, right? And when I was freelancing, I learned networking. I learned how to reach out to my network and operate as an independent business, right? I was used to doing only marketing, but over here I had to run my own business, and my business was just providing marketing services, right? So that kind of helped me understand how many businesses in the market get a boost with digital marketing, right? People that never had a LinkedIn page or even like a full-fledged website also kind of made me realize how many PMM skills are super transferable to any different industry. If you're doing lead gen, website optimization, CRO is still the same for any industry, whether it's going to be fintech or shipping and logistics or e-commerce or whatever that may be. And I think when I was also working by myself, one thing that I realized was just independence means you need to be self motivated, right? And most of the times, what people look for in leadership is not anything other than just guidance and clarity, right? Anything that I've looked to for my bosses was just clarity on what are our company goals, what's my personal goals, how do I contribute to these personal goals, right? So having that experience of running my own freelance business kind of made me realize that as a future boss or as someone that would have a team in the future, I just want to make sure that I provide mentorship more than anything else, right? And having that independence and having the time to recollect really helped. So if
That's
anyone's considering a career break, take it.
That's a lovely insight. Yes, I'm sure you're going to inspire a lot of people who've been on the edge of doing that to take a plunge. Um, any ending notes, any tips that you want to leave for the audience, anyone that's tuning in?
So I think one of the questions that you asked me was about how do you stay on edge of the market, right? I think that's really interesting because this industry is constantly changing and all of us need to be constantly growing, right? So if anyone's considering a move into PMM, I just want to recommend just read up a lot, sign up for newsletters, listen to like industry podcasters, and that's going to change your career.
Well, thank you so much. Those were